Mark, you're me.
Thank you, Lena.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, I can't see myself in there. Am I in there?
You're in there as Tammy because you joined off her invite. I just resent you your personal invite. Can you rejoin using that one?
Absolutely.
Aaron, is that the same thing you want Mark to do as well?
Yes, let me resend that one out as well.
Men.
Okay, Mark, you should have that in your email there. Just exit this and just rejoin off that link.
Talking to me, Aaron, or Mark Graff?
Mark Vertel.
Oh, sorry.
You guys got to do something about that.
We'll get started in just a few moments here.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Allow. There we go. Now why can't I hear you guys?
Can you hear me, Jen? Testing, testing. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District Workshop and Voting Meeting for the month of May. Obviously, we're handling this this meeting through video. And we have a number of people here on campus. We are practicing social distancing. We do have Jennifer Fite, school board president, myself, Emmy Faust, business manager, Tammy Thompson, school board secretary, Dave Sittler, school police officer, and Aaron Howells here, and he's our technician and the host of the meeting. Just keep in mind that if you're not talking, it's best to keep your mic on mute. Feel free to raise your hand or just speak up if you have any comments as we're working down through the workshop. I'd like to send a special thanks to Aaron. He's been working diligently throughout the week to make sure that technology is up and running. We have a relatively short agenda, but we do have a number of items that we'll take some time to discuss. We will be reviewing the budget. Emmy will take us down through any kind of changes, additions, and deletions. I have a number of policies that I will be reviewing. And then we also have Anna Beach on with us this evening. And hopefully Anna is going to be our new school psychologist. So without further ado, we're moving on to page 1 down at the consent agenda. On page 5, we have a request for professional development, and that came from Mrs. Sherman and the elementary teachers. As you can see, there's a number of teachers that signed up for this particular program. It's called Online Instructional Design and Teaching, and it's from Clarion University, and Dr. Stevens is spearheading it. There's 4 different courses, and it seems as if they're broken up into different skill sets. Course number 1 is Basic Tools for Online Instruction. It's taught by Dr. McCullough. He's going to be exploring a variety of resources for online teaching that include communication, presentation, and various productivity tools. In addition to that, there's a course, it's Google Applications for Educators, and they're going to be diving into the Google platform, and they'll go into great detail, as far as the Chrome browser, Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, the whole 9 yards. And then piecing it together is developing digital lessons and content. And that's going to go into a little bit more detail as far as creating that online learning approach. And then researching everyone, creating accessible lessons. And that class is for both general education teachers as well as special education teachers, and how we can meet the needs of most of our students. Are there any questions about that conference that Lori submitted? We do have money in Title IIA. Due to the fact that COVID-19 shut us down, we're looking at trying to get our teachers the professional development that they need. So there's no additional district cost. That's just federal money coming in. Hearing no questions or comments, I'll continue down through the agenda. If I could direct your attention to finance and purchase. We'll be paying the bills A through G when we come back to the voting meeting. And at this time, I will call upon Grant Gracia, letter H. He's going to present the cafeteria report. Grant?
All right, how are we all doing today? First, I'm going to start. We started meals on the 29th of April. So what we did was we did the claims and reimbursement for that month. So we did 2 operating days. And we're projecting between 480 and 530 meals a day that we're sending out from the elementary school. So we've had a really good response with that. We received a little bit of federal and state reimbursement, about $3,000, because we started the program a little bit late. So we'll have a full month this month that we'll claim in June. We had a couple ads in the paper as well. We had one in Clarion and one in the Progress today talking about the program we're providing for all of the students and the families inside the district. One thing we do need to probably discuss is doing one more on-call, providing the families with the final date for the program that we are providing, and just reminding them that if they are signing up to pick up meals, we need to make sure that they're being collected at all the distribution sites. Does anybody have any more questions for me?
Grant, stop by my office and we could get a all-call pulled together when we get closer to the end of the program. A question that I do have for the board is we discussed about possibly offering the program to June 30th. I don't know if that's still a discussion point or if we want to shut it down on June 5th as we originally anticipated.
You want discussion on that now, David?
It's up to you, Kelly. It could be something we bring back up when we go back into the voting meeting, or if we wanted to start to bounce it around. I don't think it matters one way or the other. We can come back to it during the voting meeting. Okay, moving down through finance and purchase, letter I. That's the guest teacher consortium. We've been part of that program for a good number of years now. We do utilize that quite often, statewide shortage in substitute teachers. So to sum it up, the IU is able to work with educators. Work with college graduates who are not educators. So they go through basic instructional classes, and then we're able to bring them on as substitute teachers. We call them only after we exhaust our current list of certified teachers. Letter J. I'm getting feedback. Letter J is from the land bank. Somebody needs to mute that. Okay. Letter J is from the land bank, and there's a property in Embleton that's going up for sheriff's sale, and this is just approving the sale of that property. It will take place on July 23rd, and there's a number of parties that have approved this as well. The Borough of Embleton and the school district will have to as well. Are there any questions about that motion?
David,
Yes.
are we on this just because we have a lien because they owe taxes to us?
Yeah, it could impact the school district. As far as the back taxes to the school, I'm not sure what that number would be, Mark. You know, in theory, we're to sell this and possibly somebody could build again, or they can sell it again. And in the future, we could start to collect taxes on it as well. Is there anything you wanted to add to that part of it? Yeah, Emmy just agreed with that. It's just, selling that property for $600. Okay, on page 2, letter K, at this time, we're going to discuss the preliminary budget for the 2021 school year, and I will turn it over to Emmy. Erin, can you share your screen so that she can get her in?
I think I'm good. Good evening. First off, we're going to look at all the revisions that I made from since the last board meeting. And so we'll go down through the revenues, and then we'll go through the expenditures. So in the local portion, I got new assessed values from the county, so that decreased our real estate of $19,105. PASBO sent out some information as to earned income tax and real estate tax transfers, gave us some information as to how we should calculate that out. So the earned income tax came up $157,500. The real estate tax transfer went down $17,850. And then also they gave us some instruction on our investments, and they went down $6,500. So all total for local change in the local revenue, it's an increase of $114,045. In the state part, Pde gave us new information on the basic ed and the special ed. And so they decreased us $21,150 in basic ed, $2,875 in special ed. And then because we made some changes to personnel, that decreased our Social Security that we should get. So it went down to $2,999. The state property tax homestead allocation that the state is giving us, it decreased by $11. The PCCD grant I had in the old budget is $25,000, and we should get $30,000, which is an increase of $5,000. And then again, the retirement changed because we made some changes to personnel, and so it decreased $15,720. So for the state portion, there's a change in the revenue of $37,757. In the revised expenditures, we're taking a special needs aid and placing that into a Title I position, which is like a 50% Title I and a 50% in a building aid. So the move, she would jump up a little bit in salary, and then that also increased Social Security and retirement. So that's a $963 towards title. And if you see down here, $963 increase in the special needs going to a building aid. Then the IU sent a new bill because they took one out of emotional support and put one in autistic, which that's an increase of $8,508. We're eliminating one study hall monitor, so that's $9,571. And last board meeting, I had our health insurance costs going up to 5.5%, and it went to 5.10%. So that's a decrease of $6,964. And then there's several, I'm going to say 6 people here that changed their health benefits. So you can see how that affected the budget. We added some to an honorarium for the elementary of $1,028. We eliminated the assistant business manager, so that's a decrease of $96,608. We eliminated the Hamilton Borough Security Police, which is $11,400. And we added to the athletic director of $249. So we were able to take $94,828 out of the expenditures. Is there any questions on any of that? If not, we'll move on. Now I got to change this. Okay, so all I'm giving you the revenue page that I gave you last board meeting, except I highlighted all the areas that I changed. So we don't need to go over that because I just went through all the changes for you. So that's the revenue with all the changes, and we come up to revenue of $14,951,753. And then here are all the expenditures pages that I shared with you last board meeting. And again, I highlighted all the different areas that I made changes to. So we won't go through any of that either because we're going to go through the whole PDE 2028. So let's zip through all this. Okay, so we will go through the 2028 because there are a lot of new board members that have not seen this before. This is the Pde report that the budget has to go out to the public on. And the first page is just the signatures. The second page is, it makes sure that did you raise property taxes in the school year 2020-2021? And yes, we did, because as you know, the state rebalanced our 4 counties and 2 of them went up. And so then it asks what the total budget expenditures are. And that's $16,456,000, oh my gosh, 934. And the ending unassigned fund balance, then because we are in the 16,455,000, we come up here and in between, if you have a budget of 16 million to 16,999, you're only allowed to keep 9.5% in the unassigned. So I calculated that out. That's the dollar amount that we're allowed to keep in unassigned. And it says the estimated ending unassigned fund balance is within the allowable limits, and it is yes. The next page will, our board president, Jen, will sign off on this tonight, and this will go to PDE in the morning. It states that I presented it on the 2028 form, and she'll sign off on that tonight. The next part is justifications. They had a few areas that they needed justifications on, and the top one will disappear once I get the homestead farmstead exclusion all figured out. So this one will disappear, and then they just ask us to justify the assigned fund balance, the unassigned fund balance here, and then to justify the assigned fund balance. So I just put a little description in there. The next page, it starts out, it wants to know where we are with our fund balance. And this is estimated at the end of this school year, 2019-2020. And I'm estimating that we should have about $4,028,335. Gosh, I can't read those little numbers. Wait a minute here. My eyes are bad. $4,026,335. And then this is the total of our local revenue and our state revenue and our federal revenue. And it comes up to $14,961,753. And then totaling both of those, it comes up to $18,978,088. The next pages are just the revenue, all broken down into the categories. And those are in the exact categories that I had given you the revenue pages from. The next pages are the tax pages, and this is the assessed value from last year, and then the stead market value the state puts in. Then I add the assessed values of the 4 different counties, and the state rebalanced our number, our millage. So if you can see here, Armstrong County remains the same as last year. Butler County went up compared to last year. Clarion stayed the same as last year. Venango County went up. So I have to start with the rebalanced millage. And so by using the rebalanced millage and trying to stay at the exact same amount as we got this 2019-2020, the millage now comes out to Armstrong County at 32.25. Oh boy, I'm so bad at these numbers. 66.97, 54.63, and 13.64 for Venango, giving us $2,980,745 into our revenue column. The next page, what we're looking for is to make sure that we are in the within the index for all 4 counties, which we are. Our index was 3.6%, and we're trying very hard not to go any higher than what we had for last year. This information is on the homesteads. I do not have all the information from the counties yet. I know the amounts that were approved. And so this will all be filled in by next board meeting. So we had a total of 1,547 homestead farmsteads that have been approved. And the state is giving us $279,825. I had $741 left over from last year. So I have $280,566 to distribute among the approved homestead farmsteads. This page just summarizes everything. There's our assessed values for the 4 counties, our millage for the 4 counties, and what the tax dollar amount is. And then what we get for homesteads plus the 741 that I'm adding to the homesteads. And then it comes out, we collected 89%. So there's our 2,980,745 that's carried forward onto our revenue area. Down here, we're looking at, we have a $5 per capita, and we're looking at getting 13,800 on the 679, and then also 13,800 on the per capita 511. We're looking at the earned income tax at 412,500, and the real estate tax 33,150. And those pre-populate back into the revenue category. This sheet just tells the percentage of the counties and how they either decreased or how they went up. It tells that we were less than or equal to the index, and then it shows our index, 3.6%. The per capita, $5, both per capitas, our earned income tax and our real estate tax. So then we move into the expenditures, and this is the detail page of the total expenditures for the instructional and the support and the operations of non-instructional services. And it shows our expenditures at $16,458,934. And this is then the breakdown of all the expenditures and the categories. And that's coming straight off the expenditure pages that I had given you. And we'll just go through those. And then it comes up with your total expenditures of $16,458,934. The next part is just, they ask for projections for our investments, our cash and short-term investments as to where we think we'll be at the end of this school year and where we would be at the end of next school year. And those are just projections. There's several of those pages that I have to fill out. You can look at those at your leisure. There is a new part to the Pde 2028, and it's on the detention center, juvenile incarcerated. And on here, they ask the expenditures. And in the special program, we're looking that we will be billing, because we are, the detention center is in our school district, we will be billing $530,055 for special education, and we will be billing into the other, or for the elementary, secondary, 245,282. And that's, those are on the expenditure sheet for the detention center. And that's just another, that one was the detail and one was the breakdown. And then on the revenue part, I noticed today that I had them reversed. So in the revenue, this 530,055 should be under the special ed, and the 245,282 should be under the non-special ed. So I have corrected that in the actual PD 2028. And then the final page is the fund balance. And again, we have 200,000 that we put out there for inventory. And we're allowed the 9.5% for the unassigned, which is the 1,563,000. 1,563,500. And then the rest goes into an assigned, which is 955,654. We then should have a fund balance left of 2,719,154, which is that number. That number there. That's the budget. Does anybody have any questions on any budget questions? This is the preliminary budget. We will vote to approve it tonight. Tomorrow, it will go out onto our webpage and it will have public participation for 30 days. June 18th, we will come back to vote on the final budget. We have between now and June 18th to continue to make changes to it. We have not received the federal portion of the revenue, so I've been using the federal revenue that we received this year. So there should be changes there. And, you know, as information comes in, we will possibly be making more changes. I did want to just, in closing, there are a couple House bills out there that I just wanted to talk to you about. There's House Bill 1776 and House Bill 243. And PASBO is giving us information, and she indicated that the bills were not moving currently in the House due to lack of support. And she didn't expect any change in the immediate future and believed the bills will be stalled in the House. That was last week, and that is on the freezing, the property tax freezing. So then this morning we get, we're still watching the property tax freeze bill, House Bill 1776 and House Bill 2431 on a daily basis. Last week, several amendments were listed to each bill, both of which are sitting on the House floor. While there continues to be general opposition to this approach, this is a very political issue and one that we are monitoring closely. So in this property freeze bill, what they told us was, because we are in multi-county school district with 4 counties, if this freeze is approved, we will go back. PASBO has language for us multi-county schools. And we will go back, the state will take the rebalancing off for this year. They will take the stead market value back to the 2019-2020 school year. The assessed values will go back to the 1920 school year, and it will be a freeze. And that is the real estate bills will go out exactly the way they went out this 1920 school year. Also, then there is also There's brief discussion about other legislation that may have a more realistic chance of being passed in Harrisburg. House Bill 2460 would extend the discount period for school property taxes and require a 6-month no penalty period. So that, then what we got this morning is House Bill 2460 is scheduled to be considered by the House Finance Committee on Tuesday, May 19th, along with several other bills. The bills would extend the property tax discount period by 30 days in every school district and would also eliminate the penalty through December 31st, 2020. So things could change between now and the time we put the budget out. We'll have resolutions if that goes into effect with the discount period and eliminating the penalty period. And then we'll just have to wait and see how this freeze goes. Is there any questions?
Emmy, just something that I want to clarify for the new board members. When you look at that number for what we are allowed to have for our reserve funds, that number, when that graph showed the percentage we're allowed to have, our budget number includes May's, right? So it actually looks inflated. So if they were not part of our budget, then we would be allowed to have more in our reserve funds.
We would.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that for new board members.
And you know, too, with them putting that new page in the 2028, it's asking the revenue for the detention center, it's asking the expenditures. So I'm wondering, I mean, this is all new. This is the first time that's ever been in there. So I'm wondering if they'll be pulling some of that out.
Boy, I really hope so.
Yeah, I don't know why that's in there other than, I mean, they must be looking at the school districts that have detention centers.
That also overinflates the cyber tuition as well. Stop sharing your screen.
Yes, yes, I'd like to get out.
And don't forget to mute.
Okay. Okay, stop sharing. Okay.
Great, thank you, Emmy. Emmy did an absolutely fantastic job. We participate in our state organizations, and the other day, PASBO was talking about these potential changes, and they said, "You think you got it bad? You should see AC Valley," and they referenced Emmy during that, just for the fact that we are in 4 different counties. Aaron, you can pull the agenda back up, and we'll move right into personnel. We have a number of items under personnel that I'd like to discuss. Letter A is a retirement of Genya Walters. She's our Title I aide. Genya's been with the district since 1998, and we're going to be losing a absolutely fantastic person and a great employee when Genya goes ahead and retires. So we wish her the very best. Letter B is going to be advertising for the elementary special education teacher. We accepted Jen Barr's letter of retirement last month, and we will be advertising, and we'll be moving quite quickly on that. Letter C, Selena is our volunteer with the community garden. So we have all her clearances on file and just formally approving her as a volunteer. Letter D is Robin Prosser. She's going to be off for a period of time for knee surgery. And then letter E is a consideration of hiring Anna Beach, a school psychologist, pending receipt of all appropriate documentation at a yearly salary of $71,700. Aaron, I was wondering if you could stop sharing our screen at this time, and I can turn this over to Anna. She's with us tonight. I sent her out the link and asked her if she'd spend a little bit of time. It's not the same as meeting her face to face, but it's next to that. So Anna, at this time, do you want to just share who you are, your experiences, and a little bit about yourself?
Nice to meet all of you. I wish we were face to face. This is a little weird doing it over a screen. I was fortunate enough to meet with David and Tim a couple times before everything was locked down, so that was really helpful. I started my career in a small district outside Youngstown, Ohio, so I was there for a couple years. It was a really challenging but rewarding experience. I learned a lot from that. But when an opportunity came back in PA, I'm born and raised in Western PA, I live in Grove City. So I jumped on that opportunity. So I've been at my current district finishing up my 5th year. And I also started my doctorate in special education last year. So I'm extremely passionate about what I do as a school psychologist. I was really fortunate during my training to intern with a licensed school psychologist. So I feel like that made me very versatile in how I look at things, interpreting data, coming at things from a very neurological perspective, and being really thorough in what I do. It's really important to me to be really hands-on with my teachers. A few years ago when my old director left, they did not hold her. So I had about 60 days of doing both roles as the kind of director and school psychologist. So I would say I'm pretty stern when it comes to paperwork and timelines and things like that. I know that was something that Tim and I really bonded over. It seems like we're very like-minded with those things and in the direction that things were going. A couple of things that really drew me to AC Valley, and I know a couple of your teachers, and it's always been really nice to hear what a family AC Valley is. And I think that that's incredibly important because the world of education is tough and you have to be able to have a good support system in what you do. So I think that's something that I'm looking forward to having with this opportunity. I also, love talking with Tim and David about how hands-on they are with working with the teacher. So like I said, that's something that's important to me. And I actually was able to speak with Jen Barr, and that was something that she said has kind of lacked in the past. So I know I am in constant communication with my special ed teachers. When I evaluate, write a report, I don't just hand it over and wipe my hands of it. I'm really hands-on in the IEP process, what those documents look like, ensuring that we are actually addressing the identified needs of each and every student. One of the things I talked a lot with Tim and David about that I know Tim is really wanting to get off the ground has to do more with the prevention and intervention side of things. And that's something that I've not been able to dive into as much as I would like from a support aspect, I would say. So that was really encouraging to me. Obviously, given the situation we're in now and the uncertainty, I think the social emotional learning, mental health aspect is something we're really going to have to dive into. So that's something I'm excited about that I did also talk with them about as part of my doctorate. We have to come up with a problem of practice within our workplace. So something that we see as an area we want to address. And so it gives me an opportunity to really work and collect data and come up with some interventions. So I think that that was something we had talked about really focusing on. For me, that kind of started in looking at the discipline of students with disabilities and, teacher training and different aspects that come along with that. So I'm really passionate about what I do. Like I said, I'm very thorough. I was really encouraged with the conversations I've had thus far with David and Tim. Next year would be my 8th year in this role. And I think, something that's important to me is always being a lifelong learner. I'm not really comfortable just sort of settling, and change is hard for people. But I think, moving into a district that's a little bit smaller where I am, having that sense of community and the support from other administration and the board and teachers and being really hands-on, I think it's a great opportunity to ensure that we're really meeting the needs of all students. That's something to me, obviously, as a school psychologist, we're usually lumped, only thinking of special services because I am sort of the gateway to those, but there's so much more with our training. And so that's something that's really important to me, that I want all teachers to know that I'm there and I'm available and to go in the class and to help with strategies. I don't like the idea of it being separated. I think it's so important that general education and special education come together because they're all of our students. So that's something that I really hope to foster through this opportunity. I don't know if any of you have any questions for me about my experience or anything specific.
We do appreciate you meeting with us tonight, Anna. Like she said, Tim and I met with her. We talked about her program strengths, weaknesses, how she can fit in. We talked about the audit coming up and, about, working with all our students. So I think she'll fit right in.
I've gone through 3 audits, even in my short years. So that's something, when I interned at Slippery Rock School District, they went through an audit. When I was in Ohio, they went through an audit, and then at my current district. So even in my 8 years, that's kind of a lot to go through, but I also learned a lot from that experience, which helped me. Part of that, we did an educational benefit review. So, in my training, they didn't teach us a lot about IEPs, but right now, I think I read an IEP just as well as some of my teachers, and they turned to me a lot. So I'm appreciative of that, working together. I think you can learn so much from that, with the help when they come in. So we'll make sure we have all our ducks in a row for that.
Thanks, Anna. All right, if there's no questions for Anna, Aaron, I'll have you share your screen again, and we're at the bottom of personnel. You'll see letter F. That's going to be an MOU with the district and Anna as far as her tuition reimbursement. She will fall underneath the Act 93 agreement. We are working with the Act 93 folks right now, so I'd imagine she'll start in on the new contract. So that's the motion to hire Anna and the MOU for her tuition reimbursement. Are there any questions about any of the items on personnel before I move on? Hearing none, we'll continue down through the agenda. We'll come back to the instructional services and we'll have our administrative reports during the voting meeting. I'm going to direct your attention to policy. I'm going to have Aaron stop his share and I'm going to share with you and highlight just a few areas that we have under policy. So just keep in mind there's some minor language changing in a number of these policies. Policy 201, you can see, but the bold is just the additional information. Really the big thing, and I had Michelle double check this, is the start date, and they have to be 5 years old before July 1st. And that's always a discussion point each and every year. And they have minimum age for admission into kindergarten too. And we have our policy set and it's worked. It got changed back in, I think, 2012-13. So it's been working, as far as the admission of our students. Policy 204, there's some definition changes, and probably the big thing is the compulsory school age. And they go into detail not only on this policy, but a number of other policies that follow as well. And as we prepare for the audit, that's the reason why we bulk these policies together here. So you can see the changes, and it's right down here is 6 years old being minimum and 18. So if they're under that or in between that number right there, there are students, and we're going to be working with them. Just the delegation and responsibilities section. If we have concerns, we generally take it to the magistrate if, we have attendance issues. Michelle Austin, our attendance officer, spearheads that discussion. She works in conjunction with the administration, and, we file with the magistrate if or when necessary. I got a couple more changes. There's just some language change that's spread throughout the policy. And you can see there's different areas, and a lot of the stuff remains the same. We just put an X beside that, just some minor changes as far as what's accepted and what isn't accepted. And you can see that we do work in conjunction with the students for college and post-secondary releases, and then also, with the homeless population. The good thing is Michelle is not only the attendance officer, but our homeless liaison as well. So no students missed throughout. We do limit the number of days for educational trips and post-secondary trips, and Bill, Minnie, and Michelle does a good job up at the high school with that. Now, a few years ago, we had some changes with our policy, and they're outlined right here. And this is what we do. So after 3 unexcused absences, we send out the information, and then we follow up in subsequent order after 10 days, and then 10 days down there. And the one area that recently changed, and I think is working quite well, is the School Attendance Improvement Conference. So if we have a student who's struggling with the attendance, and we sit down, we put a plan together. And again, it's spearheaded by Michelle and the administration. And we try to work with them and meet their needs, because different families have different situations that they have to deal with. And you can see just that program's embedded throughout this policy. And again, we utilize the magistrate when or if necessary. And if there's any questions as I work down through these policies, please feel free to just holler in. Next policy is policy 208. And withdrawal of students. And again, we pride ourselves in graduating our students, but on occasion we do lose some students that withdraw for whatever reason it may be. And this just outlines the age as far as when they are our students and what we do. So anytime that we hear that we have a student ready to drop off, or drop out rather, Mrs. Loeb works with them. We try to get the administration involved and prevent that situation from happening. So minor changes, but just compulsory education. Moving on to policy 222. This is just vaping products, and you can see there's some name changes throughout, and it really goes back to the e-cigarettes, the Juuls, and such. Our handbook that we had created years ago, we said tobacco products. So we've been pretty broad with how we hold students accountable if or when they do show up on campus with any kind of vaping materials. And just keep in mind that it's not just tobacco and nicotine, but it's any kind of medication that they may be working with through that particular item. So there's no sale, there's no carrying it on campus or anything. It's outlined in the code of conduct and also the school calendar, because it is embedded within that calendar when we send it out. And again, we don't have any devices, but there's some schools that have devices in their restrooms that can detect any kind of vaping. So on occasion, we try to supervise the students at all times. So there's just a piece in there that the students can't tamper with that. We've looked into various products. We're hoping sometime in the future that could help to prevent that situation from taking place in the bathrooms. Suspension and expulsions. There's just one minor change here on page 4 that I'm going to bring to your attention. And again, just some more of that language that is similar and changed throughout there. So the students between the age of 6 and 18 are students, and we're going to hold them accountable. Even if the student is, they talk a little bit about the expulsion. So we can't just expel a kid and forget about them. We do have to provide them with an education. But fortunately, we don't have very many expulsions, but if for when we do, we have information embedded in that policy to educate all our students. Professional development, policy 333. There's not much change in here. Everything stays the same. What we did notice that there was a change right here with school system leaders, and they include the principal and any kind of administrator that has to go through the new teacher orientation. So in the past, I don't think a lot of administrators went through a program like that. Now for teachers going from level 1 to level 2, that's one of the 3 criteria. They have to complete a induction program that's board approved. Our induction program was board approved in our strategic plan that was submitted, maybe been 2 years now, the last plan that we had. It's been in there since 08. Now the big change and an area that I do need to get feedback from the school board is FMLA. So it's policy 335. And there's not a whole lot of change in there except for this section. And this is a big adjustment for AC Valley. So currently, if a employee submits information to take FMLA leave, we permit them to utilize all sick days before FMLA kicks in. There's been changes and that's no longer the case. So what we can do is have them run parallel. So as everybody is aware that full-time employees are entitled up to 12 weeks of FMLA. That keeps their job and it keeps their insurance, but they don't get paid for it. So these two sections right here will kind of determine that pay. So we can have it so that the employees can use it to run concurrent, or that the employee may utilize it. So every single employee that we've had that came down and submitted it, they wanted to, get paid for their time. So I'm not sure if there's any feedback on that section. I left that blank just because I figured that we'd be able to make that change after tonight's meeting. Any thoughts on that?
So the question is, let me just to be clear, the question is, do we allow them to take their paid leave and FMLA at the same time, or allow them to make the choice whether they use that at the same time or have one run after the other? Is that the decision that we need to make for this policy?
I think so. The first one, it'll make sure that they have to use their sick leave in conjunction with it, so they'll get paid. And I'd say 100% of the employees have chose that option in the past, or the employee may utilize such paid leave. So it really gives it up to the employee so that they could have 12 weeks of FMLA and then potentially their sick days afterwards. It's just whether we want them to run concurrent or leave it up to the employee.
So can we leave it up to the employee still?
Yeah, sure.
I think that it should be left under their discretion, because we don't know what the situation is that they're taking the FMLA for, and they might need more time than that. That's my thoughts.
Thanks, Lena. Anybody else?
I agree with Lena.
I do as well.
Sounds good. Tammy, can you make note of that? Okay, and then in addition to that change with the FMLA, you can see there's a number of items that are connected with it, and it goes back to the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And I've read through this a couple different times. We're just going to have to continue to learn. There's a lot of really new language, and it doesn't really fall anywhere. So I believe the feds put it under FMLA, and you can see there's kind of a grid here that we'll have to reference if or when this is presented to us. But there's some information in here as far as the employee and what their responsibilities are, and responsibilities of the school district as well. So we do have guidance and information once we approve this board that we could work off of. Any questions about FMLA? And this section right here really goes into great detail as far as the employees' rights. So this will be good for the employees as well as, the district office. Now, policy 605, we haven't revisited this policy since 03. Dr. Lucas Savage had PSBA come up and make some changes to our policies. With that being said, it was time to review the policy. And again, with the new board members, we wanted to talk a little bit about, our responsibility and some of our income through taxation. No change in that policy. We have policy 606, and that's tax collection. And we've updated this. Emmy and Jody and Tammy taken some time and modified some of the language in here as far as the delinquent taxes. And then timeline. And then just our final policy, school security personnel 805.2. We have this policy in place. Since we are getting close to the end of the year, my responsibility is to present to the school board a presentation at the end of the year. It will be done in executive session, and it's Act 44, 2018. And what I will do is present everything that we've done here on campus, updated handbooks and policies. We'll review staff referrals. We'll take a look at discipline, and we'll work our way down through that. And that information is outlined right here. So by June 30th, so after or in June sometime, I'll take the school board through that information. I did that last year as well. And then moving down through, the school district could have a school police officer, a school resource officer, or a security guard. So as we went down through the Safe Schools grant last year, we couldn't find anybody to partner with us for the school resource officer. So we opted to create our own school police department. So we employ our own school police officers, and the police officers are permitted to carry a firearm. We'll get them sworn in up at the magistrate. I mean, at the courthouse, I'm sorry. And, you know, they have the same responsibilities as other school police officers in the area. We did not have anybody in the school resource officer, so that's not checked. And we don't have anybody for security guard, and that's not checked too. If we were to put on any of those people, we'd have to get them sworn in too. So we can't just hire somebody and have them police the grounds. And that, I believe, is all the information that we have embedded in that particular policy. Are there any questions about those policies? You know, again, in an effort to update our policies for the audit this summer, we're hoping to go through 2 readings. So we can still make some adjustments if there's any thoughts or suggestions from the school board.
And just so that you guys are aware, David and I took a look at the list, and the list was quite long. And so we decided to divide that up over a couple of months. So we didn't overwhelm you all at once. Even though this looks like quite a long list, the initial list was a lot longer. So I apologize for all of the reading, but we just want to make sure that we get that done for the audit.
And Aaron, you could share that screen again. Thank you. Okay, that's policies. We'll come back. Mark's on the line. He'll give a facilities report during voting meeting. We don't have anything under transportation. We'll come back to the miscellaneous during the regular voting meeting. And you can see on this revised agenda, we are creating 2 committees. We will create a finance committee and an athletic committee, and the information is presented there in front of you. And in advance, I'm going to thank everybody on those committees for their participation. I'm sure they're going to be challenging times, especially for that finance committee. We're hoping to have monthly meetings, or maybe even more so in the spring of the year whenever we get back into the budget. But we really want to identify some of our expenditures and make them come a little bit closer to the revenues, and review different programs. So I'm excited to have that committee. And then I think the athletic committee's been there for a while, and we're just formalizing that. So if there's no more questions for me, I'm going to stop the workshop, and I'll turn it over to Jennifer Fite, School Board President, and she'll take us through the voting meeting. Jen?
All right. Tammy made a note here. Of course, all of you were on that. We did have an executive session that we held via Zoom meeting Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. Beginning at 7:30 p.m. For personnel reasons. So she'll put that in the minutes for us. Aaron, do you want to put the flag up, please? All right. We'll do the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll have a moment of silence. All right, Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Carrie Armagost.
Here.
Megan Dreher.
Here.
Jennifer Fite.
Here.
Diane Page.
She's there. I saw her.
I saw her. Diane, are you there?
You got to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I lost my connection. I'm here.
Okay. Corey Sherman,
Here.
Lena Southworth,
Here.
Jameen Stump,
Here.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Here.
and Mark Bertel.
Here.
Great. So I'm just going to remind everybody that all of our votes on these kind of meetings will be a roll call vote. And when you guys are making a motion or seconding a motion, please make sure you say your name so that it's easier for Tammy to make note of that. Okay? All right. And the first thing that we need to do is to have somebody make the motion to suspend part of our electronic voting policy 006.1. So if somebody wants to make that motion, please.
I'll make the motion. Kelly Terwilliger.
I'll
That
second
we
it, Lena.
All right.
Suspend the. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I didn't know, do you need to read the whole thing or just say we're going to suspend the attendance at meetings via electronic communication?
That's good. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in, oh, wait, Tammy, take the roll, please.
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jennifer Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Jameen Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, great, thank you. So the next piece of business is the reading and approval of the minutes for the workshop and regular board meeting, April 20th, 2020. Somebody want to make the motion?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes. This is Mark Vertel.
Second, Kelly Terwilliger.
Thank you. Tammy, will you call the roll?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Jameen Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, I do know we have, I've got a lot of feedback. Tam, is your mic off? There we go, that's better. I do know we have two public participants. Does anybody have anything they want to talk to the board about for public participation? All right, hearing none, we'll move along. We don't have any presentations this evening. Are there any board concerns?
This is Carrie. I do have a board concern that I wanted to address. I have had some senior parents reach out to me about graduation. I know that's been a big topic of discussion, especially over these last several days as our process is kind of being rolled out to students and their families. But the issue that came to me is more about, more specifically, the number of parents allowed to accompany the students to the stage. What this one of the first parents said was it's really tearing her daughter apart to have to pick between her parents. It's a struggle for the kids to have to pick between one or the other. They feel it's important, and I certainly want to bring that to the board for some discussion.
Okay. Okay. I can tell you that we did have some discussion this morning. As you know, as I've let you guys know, we do have a committee that is working on graduation and to put all of those plans in place. And we did talk today about two things. I'll kind of fill you in on. One was that there was an online petition that was started to be able to have graduation on the football field with people, family members set around the football field in the bleachers and things like that. And of course, immediately our concern was that we are still in the yellow, and that would be a lot more than 25 people. Just having the class members there is more than 25 people. So that was, you know, we all recognize the fact that that's not going to be able to happen. We did also have discussion about, Carrie, what you are talking about, having more than, or having, you know, both parents be able to accompany the student up to the stage. And there was some concern that was brought forth about, you know, getting close to that number of people, that 25 people that would be around the stage, near the stage, you know, that kind of thing. We did have some discussion about that. David or Bill, do you guys want to jump in here and let them know your concerns about that?
Yeah, Carrie, we talked about that this morning, and the concern that we had, that if we had a bunch of family members getting in and out of the car, that is just going to delay the process that we have set up. We talked about too, with the regular graduation, you know, the parents can come close and take some pictures, but since we're in the yellow phase and we're just concerned about the numbers with the number of employees that'll be up there, administration, you know, Jen will be up there. We just thought that the additional people coming and going was just going to slow it down, and we were just concerned about that. Bill?
I would just add that, you know, the district, the team that has created, you know, this opportunity for graduation this year has taken things like that into consideration. We're going to have a professional photographer there taking pictures. To be honest, I mean, you know, the only other alternative I see is not having anybody escort the student up. And that's not something that normally happens anyhow, as far as actually escorting a student up to the stage. You know, the way it normally happens, they are asked to come up to take pictures. So if pictures is the issue, you know, the district is going to have that professional photographer take pictures, and we plan on giving every family, you know, a photo of their son or daughter with their diploma in their cap and gown, excuse me. And you know, I think that, you know, the team has come up with the best option possible, given the circumstances.
Board members, any thoughts from you all?
Well, I agree with Bill. We've never had parents come up, escort kids up in the past. So I'm not sure what the issue is this year that they want to do that. Cause I mean, and I'm not sure what, when the seniors are coming up, are the parents driving their cars up and they're going to be in front of us, in front of the stage?
No.
Okay, so you're just parking they'll just get out of their car and walk up then. Is that what's happening?
Right.
And I honestly think, Jen, I think originally, and this goes back a ways, as we were kind of working through or talking about some of the options early on, there was talk about one parent being allowed to exit the vehicle to take pictures, but then I guess, you know, I didn't realize that the letter said one parent could escort and take pictures. So I think that's where
Can it's, since they're just, their car is going to be parked and then the student is going to come up to the stage. This is what I'm understanding, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so why can't the one, I mean, we've never had them escort them to begin with. So to me, I don't understand that concept whatsoever. I don't understand why two parents, one couldn't stand away and take the picture. I mean, they shouldn't, I don't think the parents should be in the picture anyway. It's just the graduate getting the diploma, correct?
Yeah, and I think there's a little misunderstanding there. I guess when I say escort, or when we were talking about that, that just means they would be allowed to come out of their vehicle with their graduate and be available to take pictures, you know, as they wanted to, close to the stage.
And honestly, Jen, I think that's where the confusion lies, because that was what initially I said, no, somebody can just get out and take a picture. And then she said no, and she read whatever went out to the students, and I think it was worded as escort the student. And then that I think it had a different meaning to some people than maybe others. Do you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
As a more formal, as a more formal thing is like escorting them up to get their diploma.
I gotcha. Okay. So maybe there was some confusion there then in when we were talking about it as the group, and David and Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, our initial conversations were they could get out of the car at the same time with their student, and we're going to have one in waiting to go up on the stage while one is on the stage, and so that their parent could wait with them while they were waiting to go up on the stage, and then while the student is up on the stage, take those photographs from down on the ground, just like they would normally in the gymnasium.
Because I was just going to say, normally it's just one parent that comes up and takes the pictures anyway, and then they're just
the
rest of the family member.
Right. Yeah, typically that's the way it goes anyhow. At least that's the way most of them are. So
do you think we need another call to the seniors just to say, clarify that so they understand that we're not talking about them escorting the student up on the stage to get the diploma, that we're just saying you may get out of your car with your student and take pictures if you would like.
Yeah,
I normally.
Yep, I definitely think it needs clarified, because it just had a different meaning to some when it said escort.
And the other thing is, I've had people say, I'm not understanding that the student is going to be elevated and they're all afraid they can't see. Aren't we kind of planning on putting that up on the bank?
No, where we're going to have the stage is the cars are going to be facing the road, the front road 58, and the stage, anybody on the stage will have their backs towards 58. Okay, so and the stage is going to be the normal stage that we use, and then of course smaller cars will kind of be positioned in those middle two rows. We're going to try to kind of stagger them a little bit, was the discussion that we had, and then larger vehicles would be towards the back. So hopefully everybody then is able to have a view of what's going on.
So they are going to be up on the stage. People shouldn't have an issue. Okay.
Correct.
I thought, but it seems like some people were thinking you're not going to be able to see and all that kind of stuff. So maybe if we send out a message about the escorting, we might want to say, the cars are going to be placed strategically so that everybody can see as much as possible, and the students are going to be up on stage. And
sure, we can send out another message and provide a little bit more detail as to exactly how things are going to happen, so that maybe that alleviates some of the concerns that were brought up. Any other discussion, any other thoughts, anything else we should?
So in other words, Jen, what you're saying is the people in the cars will be like the people sitting in the chairs. The people taking pictures will be like the ones going up the stage taking the pictures, and the kids will be walking on the stage like they normally do.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
I did have a parent call today to ask about having something out on the football field, and I explained to her concern. And then she also asked about possibly opening up the different buildings to live stream it so they could watch it as well. And I think that would be difficult to control to ensure that we had less than 25 people. So I told her that, you know, we could discuss it, but we're not in favor right now.
Right.
Are we still planning on live streaming it on Facebook though?
Yes, we are. Aaron's
Okay.
shaking his head yes, and he's in charge of that. So yes.
Okay.
Yep. And Kelly has Kelly ordered for us the FM transmitter, and it is in. She's that was done so that everybody that is in the parking lot will be told the radio station to tune their radios to in order to hear the speeches that are going on, so that you know, everybody will be able to hear the valedictorian, the salutatorian, and the class president, you know, just the same as they would any other graduation ceremony that we've had.
Jen, I have a question for Aaron on that. Aaron, the antenna that came with the device says it's good for like 300 feet. And then you can purchase a better antennas. Do you think we're good with the antenna that came with it?
I think we're probably okay. We'll certainly test it beforehand. I know that there are some antennas that we could get our hands on. I could even ask Trevor, he may have something like that. From what I gather though, it should be okay, but we have access to some stuff if it's not.
Okay, I just thought I'd better bring that up just in case.
Okay.
Good, I'm glad you did. That way we can, you know, check that out. And we are gonna do a run through. I think probably Aaron, you'll check that out days beforehand, but we are gonna do a run through the day before, so that we'll have the valedictorian, salutatorian, and class president here, and do that run through for them so that they're comfortable with what's going on, and we'll use that FM transmitter then and make sure that that's working properly. Okay, any other discussion about graduation? All right, any other board concerns? All right, hearing none, we're gonna move along. All right, consent agenda. Really the only item is the field trip request, because we don't have any substitutes for right now. So anybody have any questions in regards to the field trip request that was put out there?
David, is that a credited course?
I think there's additional credits that the employee can get on their own. You know, there'd be additional work. So yes and no. At
Okay.
least right now is what we're being told.
All right, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Second, Diane Page.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Tammy, do you want to take the roll?
I'm not touching. Okay, Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
I lost. I lost again.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Jameen Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Tripoliger,
Aye.
and Mark Vertel.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Mr. Treasurer, would you like to take us through finance and purchase, please?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to lump together items A through G and also include H since we heard Grant's report already. So moved.
Second, Carrie Armagost.
All right.
Said that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, Tammy, will you call the vote, please?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item I, consideration to approve joining the Riverview Intermediate Unit Guest Teacher Consortium at a cost of $625 through July 30th, 2021. Guest Teacher Consortium Board Resolution dated May 5th, 2020, attached. So moved.
Second,
Was that Kelly?
sorry, yes, Kelly, second.
No problem. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, Tammy, you want to call the roll?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
and Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Hey, we're getting good at this. Motion carries.
Item J, consideration to approve the option agreement between the Venango County Land Bank, the Venango County Tax Claim Bureau, Embleton Borough, and the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District dated March 12, 2020, as attached. So moved.
Second, Diane Page.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Everybody's clear about what this is now? I think that was answered during David's presentation. Okay, Tammy, you want to call the vote, please?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
and Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Great, motion carries.
Item K, consideration to approve the preliminary 2020 through 2021 school budget as attached. So moved.
Second, Diane Page.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion related to the budget? All right, hearing none. Tammy, call the vote, please.
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jennifer Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Motion carries. So Emmy will go ahead and she's got that and ready and I can sign it. I think it's over here somewhere. All right, so personnel. Megan, do you want to do personnel for us, please?
Sure. Letter A, consideration to accept the letter of retirement from Eugenia Walker, Title I aide. She has been employed with the district since November 1998, and her last day of employment will be June 5th, 2020. So moved.
Kelly, second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right. Tammy, you want to call the vote, please?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, great. And Tammy, if you will send a letter to Genya from the board with our appreciation for her years of service, that would be great. Thank you.
Letter B, consideration to advertise for an elementary special education teacher for the 2020-2021 school year. So moved.
Second, Mark
Second.
Bertel.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, Tammy, call the vote.
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Great, motion carries.
C, consideration to approve Selena Petty as a volunteer with the district pending receipt of all appropriate documentation. So moved.
Second, Mark Bertel.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. And if you remember, she's the one that presented to us about having the community garden here on the campus. So is there any discussion? All right, Tammy, call the vote.
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Great, motion carries. Thank you.
D, consideration to approve the request from Robin Prosser, head cook, to be off of work beginning May 18th, 2020 for knee surgery through the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year, utilizing her sick days for this time off. So moved.
Second, Lena Southworth.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Tammy, you call the vote, please.
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
and Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
E, consideration to hire Anna Beach as school psychologist, pending receipt of all appropriate documentation at a yearly salary of $71,700. So moved.
Second, Mark Bertel.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. Tammy, will you call the vote?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Welcome on board, Anna. I hope you're still there.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you on.
Okay, letter F, consideration to approve the memorandum of understanding for school psychologist administrative compensation plan dated May 18th, 2020 between the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District and Anna Beach, school psychologist as attached. So moved.
Second, Corey Sherman.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Tammy, will you call the vote, please?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Instructional services. Diane, would you take us down through those, please?
Could we have the elementary report?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Well, to start off with, obviously we are still on our distance learning and making attempts there. I would say as far as attendance, we're probably mediocre on a good day at this point, as far as participation goes in the classroom activities. I do want to give a public kudos to the teachers for their tenacity, though. They are continuing to offer engaging and informative options for the students and have tried to increase live meetings and have things at those meetings to entice the kids, like visits from our therapy dog logger. Some teachers have started using our Starbucks system in some ways, like they're listing stars on the classroom banner for the class for kids who are participating. So they are still trying, even though we're in those last few days of school, few weeks of school. So I commend them for that. Looking towards the end of the year and needing to collect laptops, library and textbooks, and get personal belongings and report cards out to students. I've developed a schedule to make that happen at the elementary school on June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd with the help of some teachers volunteering. We'll have a morning session and an afternoon session from 9 to noon and 1 to 3. We're going to separate the families by alphabetical order. So on June 1st, we'll have families from A to G, on June 2nd, H to N, and on June 3rd, O to Z. Families would come using the last name of their oldest child to determine their pickup day. It will be curbside, so families will stay in their vehicle. The teacher volunteers would go out to the vehicle, find out what students they're picking up for, retrieve the items for that student and take them to the car. We'll also have a container for the laptops as we collect those, and for the textbooks and library books as well. So that is our plan for that. And I'm hoping to release that information to the public tomorrow so that they have an idea of when that's coming. And the last big thing that's sort of on our plate is kindergarten. We have 52 kindergartners right now, prospective for the fall. But as you all know, we haven't had a kindergarten registration day yet, like we normally do. That was supposed to have been in April. We would still like to have some sort of registration. I'm thinking maybe early August, depending on what things look like then. And even if we are still yellow, if we can do it with keeping the numbers low, spacing out the families' visits, because it is very important for us to do that registration day and build class lists once we get that information, set up special services those students may need. So I'd like to look ahead and pick a couple days to do that and start making some plans in that way, because there are some things that we have to set up, like teachers to be there to conduct some of the testing and that sort of thing. And that's the top 3 things that are on my plate right now.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Can we have the secondary report, please?
Can I ask Lori a quick question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You're kind of sounding a little distant, Kelly.
Okay, can you hear me? Is that any better?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I just wanted to know, Lori, I had a parent ask me today when I was delivering lunches, and I just didn't know, do you think we could maybe send out a call or send out some information, even post on the website that you're tentatively planning that in August so they have some kind of a clue?
Sure. I just wanted to make sure it was okay to start planning something like that for August.
I think it's a great idea. And I think if the parents are kind of wondering, so if we can just give them a heads up that, hey, we are having something and it's coming down the road. So.
Sure. Yep, we can do that.
Thank you.
Great. I think that's a great idea too, because I did hear something from somebody today after I left lunch passing out lunches, and there was a question about that. So that was going to be my question for Lori as well. So good.
Yeah, I fielded some phone calls on it too. So I know people were curious, and we were just kind of doing the wait and see to see what it was going to have to look like.
And Lori, you feel like early August is gives you enough time to get all of those pieces in order for kids that may need extra help and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, because normally we have that done before the school year ends, but I mean, if you're okay with it being sometime in July, we could even do it sooner.
I think we have to have the caveat that it depends on, the Department of Health as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't
think
see,
so. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't see that it would matter having it in July if you would schedule times and have families come in one at a time, and you could be sure your numbers would be lower than 25. That would help you out. Do it earlier.
I talked with Lori Curcia, about how we could do it and make sure we keep that spaced out. And, we thought about developing like the schedule ahead of time and then putting that out there in some way. I'll probably have to talk to Aaron about that, where parents could sign up for one of the slots. Because normally we do it by township or borough. But rather than that, because we want to have them spaced out, if we have specific time slots, and then we just have families sign up for those time slots.
I think that would be good. At least the parents that contacted me this afternoon, like their child was getting awfully anxious. Like they were ready to come in. They wanted to, see what it was all about. So I think if July helps you then, and you're just going to schedule them, then that's great. I think it's fine.
It's normally a 2-day thing during the school year in the spring, but we're thinking it's going to take more than 2 days to spread out 52 families.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think if you want to go ahead and start it, whenever, it's fine with me, if it's fine with the rest of the board and with David.
I agree. I think even if you schedule a week in July and then maybe have a couple days in 1st of August, because you might have parents are on vacation. You never know how many people are taking vacations this summer or not. So
I'm more than willing to help out Lori, so just let me know.
Okay, we'll get started on it as soon as possible then.
Great. Any other questions for Lori before we let Diane move along? Okay.
Okay, then, could we have the secondary report, please?
Yes, Diane. First of all, I just want to say publicly that I'm actually excited for graduation. I mean, I'm glad that the team that we had at the school that planned this decided to come up with this type of ceremony. It's always an awesome time of the year. It's filled with joy and with sadness seeing these students go. And with the pandemic and the whole change to what we do as an educational organization, we needed to be able to recognize these students, and I think that it's going to be a fantastic ceremony, despite the fact that it's different. At the high school, we are also planning for end of the year cleanup. I want to thank Lori Sherman, because she actually gave me her model, and I just copied almost completely right off of it. So sorry about that, Lori. But the difference at the high school is the students they still have their lockers full of materials. There may be books that they have at home, as well as computers, things like that. So the schedule I sent out to all of you, a copy of that end of the year wrap up, and it really is going to take at least 5 days for us to be able to do that. And we plan on just having one grade at a time come in for each day. We will limit the amount of students that are in the building to 5 at a time, and I will make sure that social distancing is being practiced. And we hope to have those things cleaned out, but I know that it's probably, in all reality, going to run over into next week. So I'm going to work with Mark and the custodial crew to make sure that once those lockers are cleaned out completely, if there are any students that are lagging behind, we will take care of their materials and personally call the parents and make sure that it's delivered in a bag or a box. We will also be distributing report cards. I'm going to have my secretaries get those printed off by the end of this week, and hopefully we will also have next year's schedules for those students when they show up as well. Moving on, I just want to say there are no updates from the PIAA on fall sports. There's a lot of chatter, but no specific direction, and I think they're basically waiting for a little bit of direction from the state. But as soon as I hear something, I'll be sure to communicate that out to everyone. One last thing that I'd like to bring up, and I know a lot of times we hear such negative things, and this past year we got beat up on math test scores. But one little bit of news that was sent to me was, and I know it's not, maybe the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if you ever read the U.S. News and World Report, and you can go onto their website, usnews.com/education, they always come out with a list of the top ranking high schools. And there are over 17,000 schools, high schools specifically, in the United States. They ranked AC Valley 246th out of 754 Pennsylvania schools. And actually, if you get on their website and compare us to other schools in the area, we are better than all other Clarion County schools with the exception of one. They base their calculations on a combination of performance on testing, graduation rate, college and career readiness, all in relation to the enrollment and the free and reduced lunch count. So despite the fact that sometimes we do get beat up on things, I think AC Valley provides the most well-rounded education of any of the schools around, and I'm very proud to work at AC Valley, and I'm very proud of the graduates this year. So kudos to the district on being able to demonstrate that kind of performance. And that is the secondary update. Thank you.
That is really awesome news. I had not heard that, but now I'm going to check that out. That's awesome news, Bill. Are there questions for Bill? I do have one thing, Bill, if I could request from you. Because we have so many new board members, if you could send us out one of the master schedules like you've done in the past. At least we've got them in the past. I think you have done them once or twice before. If you could send that out for us, that would be great.
As soon as it's completed 100%, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
Do we have a federal programs report?
Yes, Diane, I'll take that one. Just a quick update. Last week on May 14th from 9 to 10 a.m., Lori, Emmy, and I participated in the virtual spring title meeting through IU4, and they just reviewed a number of updates and expectations. In addition to that, the flexible instructional days for the 2021 school year is up. That application is available. Keep in mind that we could use up to 5 days per year. It's a 3-year application process. So I do plan on working on that and hopefully have it submitted here in the near future. It's due in September. I'm not sure how this could or may not impact what the fall looks like if we were to have a blended approach or, you know, depending on COVID-19 and what that dictates. But this is primarily set up for snow days and making them up virtually. With that being said, you know, with the professional development committee, we've been talking about extending out our lesson plans. We always try to plan at least a week ahead of time. We may be looking at planning a month ahead of time, just in case we do have to pull back. In addition to that, as I finish off, the CARES Act is also available. And keep in mind that the CARES Act is the money coming in from the federal government. The application for the first bucket of federal CARES Act funding was made available to school districts and charter schools late last week. It's in the e-grant system. While PDE is continuing to move forward with the allocation process, the General Assembly is still moving forward on Senate Bill 1108. So the superintendents in the area met with Pedro Rivera last week, and both Pedro and Governor Wolf are trying to add this money in as additional money into our budget. We're looking at, I think it's right around $184,000. With that being said, there's a lot of pushback with the legislation in Harrisburg right now. So we're not sure if that will supplant or be additional money coming in. As the current budget stands, that money is incorporated into the budget. So if we get that additional money, then that's going to be a win. We're just conservative with that money coming in. And Diane, that concludes my federal programs report.
Thank you, David. Does anybody have any questions? If not, could we have the district report, the school police report, please?
Yes, I'll get started and then I'll turn it over to Dave. Moving forward.
Oh, sorry.
Just moving forward, Emmy talked about the property freeze tax bill 1776 and the House bill 2431. Just keep in mind that that may impact a number of schools across the Commonwealth. There's also House Bill 703, and I'm not sure, but it's tied into COVID-19. And what it does is, if this bill were to pass, it ensures that all school districts post the email address from their school directors and board of trustees on the LEA's website. So that may or may not be coming down the road. House Bill 1076, that's on the governor's desk right now. And what that bill does is implement a senior citizen volunteer program. And the senior citizens could qualify for a property tax credit if they were to volunteer. So that's going to be exciting and may benefit us here in the district. On May 22nd, we will be meeting with the local legislators. We haven't been having our regular meetings due to the fact that we just can't. So we set up a virtual meeting. So we'll be discussing a variety of topics, probably mostly around the budget. Just a reminder that in June, I will present information to the school board for the Act 44 Safety and Security Report. And in closing today, I would like to thank Dave Stubb from the Progress News. Dave has been communicating with that graduation committee, and we've been doing some highlights with our graduates, and we're getting a lot of really good feedback in there. So it's great to have partners like Dave in the community. And Diane, that concludes my district report. Turn it over to Dave Sittler at this point.
Hello. We just got back on campus Monday last week. Mark and I, we finished our mandated update training from the PAMPO-TEC. That's the training commission for PA. It took us 3 days to do it. We finished the reunification plan and gave it to Superintendent McDevitt. We also took a look at the crisis plan. We added a few things. We're going to give it to Jody to change those items that we recommended to be changed. And we're working on a PowerPoint for the next in-service training. We ordered some glow sticks for the buckets in the classrooms in case there is a lockdown after dark. So other than that, seems to be going pretty good. That's about it.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, now I'm on again. All right, so let's move along then. Kelly, would you take the policy section for us, please?
Certainly. All right, item A, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 201, admission of students. So moved.
Second, Diane Page.
Right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Tammy, call the vote.
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Jameen Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Vertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Item number B, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 204, attendance. So moved.
Second, Mark Vertel.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Okay, item C, consideration to approve the first reading of policy 208, withdrawal from school. So moved.
Second, Lena Southworth.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, policy item D, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 222, the tobacco and vaping products. So moved.
Second,
Second.
Okay, the first one I heard was Lena. All right, any discussion? Okay, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost, Carrie,
Aye. Sorry, I thought I unmuted.
okay, Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
All right, item E, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 233, suspension and expulsion. So moved.
Second, Lena Southworth.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, item F, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 333, professional development. So moved.
Second, Diane.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Okay, item G, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 335, family and medical leave. So moved.
Second, Lena.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Item H, consideration to approve the first reading of policy number 605, tax levy. So moved.
Second, Lena.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger, Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, item I, consideration to approve the first reading of policy 606, tax collection. So moved.
Second, Lena.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger, Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
And item J, consideration to approve the first reading of policy 805.2, school security personnel. So moved.
Second, Lena.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Tammy?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Jermaine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
and Mark Bertel.
Aye.
All
They
right.
really like that motion.
They really did. And it's a good thing it carries.
Good time for somebody to come to the door.
Exactly. All right. Mr. Milford, would you give us your report, please, sir?
Sure. First of all, welcome Anna Beach. I'll get her door access cards, keys with Mr. McDivitt, voicemail set up. I'll email her all the stuff for setting up her phone. Custodians are all back full time. They started their summer cleaning. Danny and James have started their maintenance on equipment. Filters have all been delivered to change everything this summer. Danny and James also started getting things ready for graduation, getting the stage, building a set of steps with handrails. I got to get with Jameen on the tent, make sure the tent, we have to build stage extensions for to accommodate the tent. So I'll check with with the cross country tent also and see if it may fit on there better.
We had Mark, the
Yeah.
one I have is a 10 by 20.
Okay, our stage is 8 by 24. So we can probably put extensions on the back of the stage, to accommodate 2 feet of, if that's the base may be trapezoid shape, it may be larger on the base than it is the top, Jameen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We can get it out if you need to look at it. Just let me
Yeah,
know.
we may have to do that. I'm gonna look at up in the garage and see what's available up there.
Okay.
And I'll look at some of the sports tents and see if we have something on, up at campus. We'll get one of them opened up and see. I'll get a hold of you. I think I have Bill's number.
The band shed has 2 10 by 10s. They should be in there.
Okay.
The band shed, if you
Awesome.
need to look at those. But
Yeah.
yeah, just let me know. We can drag that one out and you can look at it.
Yep. Thank you, Jameen.
Mhm.
The high school gym, we've had it inspected. All the basketball hoops, all the cables have been replaced. That's been done already. So we're moving ahead. That's all. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Any questions for Mark? Okay, good. Nothing under transportation for this evening. Corey, will you take us down through miscellaneous, please?
Yeah, item A, Career Center report. I believe, David, you sent out the copy of the minutes to everyone.
Yeah, that's in their packet, Corey.
Okay, does anybody have any questions regarding the minutes? Okay, and then also in A, consideration to approve the Clarion County Career Center Board Resolution on 2020-2021 budget with total receipts and expenditures of $3,057,752 as attached. So moved.
Second, Lena.
Kelly.
Okay, I think I heard Lena first. All right, great. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? David sent us information out about the budget. Everybody's clear about that? Okay, Tammy, go ahead and call the vote.
Okay, before I do the vote, I have your budget resolution that you people are supposed to sign. Check yes and sign. If it's okay, I'll just check those for you and sign them for you and get them up to them first thing tomorrow morning, if that's okay.
Yes.
So, all right. First, we've got Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Vertel.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. So anybody have any issue with Tammy signing those for you? Perfect.
All right, item B, intermediate report. Lena, is there anything new other than the minutes that we got?
Nothing new. We did a lot of policies last time, changing, and we voted on moving the career center, or I'm sorry, the IU working days to 4 during the summer, with extended hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then if they didn't want to work that, then they could take vacation days for those times. But that's really all we talked about.
Okay, any other questions on the IU? All right, item C, correspondence. A copy of correspondence from Nathan Maines, Chief Executive Officer, PSBA, dated April 30th, 2020. Appointment of voting delegates for PSBA Delegate Assembly attached.
Anybody have any interest in being on the PSBA board? Okay, moving right along.
All right, and item D, Technology Committee update.
Kelly, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'll try. I'm trying to remember now.
I know I was looking for my notes. I was like,
I know, me too.
We did talk about a plan for having one-to-one next year when we come back,
Right.
one-to-one computing. So Jeff is looking at purchasing some new laptops that we would give those, not laptops, but Chromebooks that we would give to kids 9th through 12th graders. And then kind of moving down through, you know, we would continue to give the ones that we have currently to the younger students. The new ones would go to the older students. That was one of the things that we talked about, and how to try to, you know, what we need to look at in terms of disinfecting, and, you know, do they take them home? Do they keep them in the carts in the rooms? We had a lot of discussion over those kinds of things for what that looks like next year when we come back.
And the other thing we talked about, and the board will be involved with this, we need to develop a policy on those Chromebooks, as far as if they take them home, are we going to require them to buy insurance? And I think the tech department is working on getting us some costs for what some of the repair bills might be. So parents would have a decision of whether they wanted to buy the insurance or take a chance on paying what a repair bill might be. But we need to write up and create some kind of a policy that the parents will sign and the students will sign, that delineates their requirements and what their responsibilities are. So,
yeah.
There's a couple schools in Mercer County that are already doing this. They've been doing it for years. I could reach out and try to get some policy information if that would help.
Oh, that'd be
sure.
awesome.
I was gonna look for some too, so we can get those, and it's always better instead of reinventing the wheel yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Great, thanks, Corey.
Maybe Corey, you could ask them too, do they have a specific vendor they use for insurance purposes?
Okay, I'll write that down and ask them.
Great. I think that was really what we focused on. Anybody? I think that was pretty much what we focused on.
Yeah, we're having another meeting on June 16th at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
And I think we set June 4th at 1 p.m. would be the practice for graduation.
Oh, yes, that was it. Yep. All right. Any questions about tech stuff? Okay. Any old business? Okay. New business. Jameen, would you take this, please?
Sure. Okay, so new business. Consideration to establish a standing committee for finance in accordance with policy number 005, which shall be made up of the following positions. Board treasurer, 2 board members to be appointed by the board president, superintendent, and business manager. So moved.
Second, Lena?
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, Tammy, will you call the vote?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Jermaine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
So when do we,
Okay.
when do we find out who they are?
Well, Jameen, you would be on that one. Mark has no choice. And Corey and Megan are also on there, I think. Yep. Okay.
Okay, next one. Consideration to establish a standing committee for athletics in accordance with policy number 005, which shall be made up of the following positions. 4 board members to be appointed by the board president, superintendent, high school principal, and athletic director. So moved.
Second, Lena?
Kelly Twilliger, second. Lena.
Lena just gets in right before you, Kelly. She's just a little quicker on that button. All right, any discussion?
I just want to make note that's a HC Valley committee only, where we don't have a joint committee going on at this point, just
Yeah.
for clarification.
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. Any other discussion?
Oh, I do. Once we get this committee as well as anything else, can we get a list of the people on them so we as board members can direct the people who have questions to those committees?
Absolutely. We can definitely do that. Any other questions or discussion? All right, Tammy, you will call the vote.
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Jermaine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Bertel.
Aye.
Motion carries. And just so that you're all aware, on the athletic committee will be myself and Lena, Jameen, and Mark. Okay. Anything else under new business? All right. This is a slight shorter than last time that we did this. I think we're getting a little better.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
Don't we have
definitely.
to talk about whether we're gonna have lunches
Oh,
to the end of June?
thank you, Kelly. Or Diane. I looked at Kelly's name written on there and sorry about that. Thanks, Diane. So what is everyone's thought about whether we end lunches on June 5th or we continue them through June 30th?
I'm thinking June 5th because we usually wouldn't have them over the summer anyways.
I would agree.
I agree.
Grant, do you have any feedback to share with the board members?
Yeah, so I know that Jen was shooting me some information about what was called PEBT, which was a pandemic electronic benefit transfer. And I know, David, you had sent that to me as well. So I looked into that so I could explain it for you folks on what that means. So Pennsylvania Department of Ed has decided that as of the 12th of June, they will no longer be providing pandemic electronic benefit for any family. So every family in our district that received any type of free or reduced meal since March 19th of 2020, they were giving them an additional $5.70 a day on their Pennsylvania access cards or food stamp cards. So we did get notification that they are going to quit doing that as the 12th because that's when they would see fit the end of the educational year for providing meals on their end. So I don't know if that helps provide the board with making a decision on whether to continue meals or not, but there has been a waiver that's been provided that we can do this for as long as we want. But I mean, that's completely up to you folks.
Are we gonna have the staff grant?
Well, Robin's out right now because she had a double knee replacement. I have one employee that hasn't been released to come back yet because she doesn't feel safe coming to work. So, and my staff is now starting to submit a lot of requests to try to get back into the doctors. I know I have 2 other employees who are going to be taking some time off here. So I'll have staff, but it'll be very minimal staff. So we could do it to the 30th, but I don't know that I'll be fully staffed for that. That's my only concern.
Then I say we do it till the 5th.
Anyone
Do we
else?
need to take a vote, Jen, or?
5th is fine for me.
I think if we just have a consensus, I don't think we necessarily need to have a vote because we approved it to the 5th.
Right.
So I think the only thing we would need to vote on is if we wanted it to go to the 30th. So if we're okay with just it going to the 5th, which would have been, which is graduation, and actually is 2 days longer than our school year would be because the kids would have been out June 3rd, then I think we're fine with things the way they are. Does anybody opposed for us to us stopping on the 5th? All right, so Grant, we will continue to do it to June 5th as we originally planned. And that way, you know, hopefully you can keep enough staff in for the next 2 weeks to be able to keep doing that. And I think when I looked at the schedule for volunteers, I think we're fully staffed that way. Aren't we, in terms of people passing out?
Yeah, we are. We're staffed at all our locations, so I'm not concerned up to the 5th at all. I just know a lot of people are starting to replan vacations and things like that. So, and I know my staff was trying to do the same thing. So
Sure.
I think we're perfectly fine to the 5th. We got the supplies up until the 5th with boxes and bags, and they're locked in with milk and US Foods until the 5th. So I can go ahead and shoot them an email and let them know that as of the 5th, when our last delivery dates will be, because they were asking me for that information as well.
Okay, good. And then what we can do is we talked about sending that school reach message out and so we can remind people that we still will be doing this to June 5th. And so if they, you know, make sure to come in and pick up the meals. I know at St. Pete today, we didn't have as many pickup as we normally did. So, you know, so I'm sure that let's just remind folks to do that.
Absolutely. I'll get that together with David and get that sent out.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? All right. Well, again, Anna, I want to welcome you to AC Valley. We're excited to have you. And if someone could make a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion, Kelly Twilliger, that we adjourn.
I'll second it, Diane Page.
Ooh, Diane got it. All right. Pam, will you call the vote?
Carrie Armagost,
Aye.
Megan Dreher,
Aye.
Jen Fight,
Aye.
Diane Page,
Aye.
Corey Sherman,
Aye.
Lena Southworth,
Aye.
Janine Stump,
Aye.
Kelly Terwilliger,
Aye.
Mark Vertel.
Aye.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your evening. Looks like it's going to rain. It's getting awfully dark out here. So have a great week, everyone.
Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone.
All right.